Hey guys, it's Jeff, and I'm literally like I'm texting or I'm typing Tiffany as we're going live, which was a really stupid thing to do. So, hi, welcome, welcome back. We're live again. I got Ray with me, and I was slacking the awesome Tiffany Mama Tiff at Techie Teach who's out in Providence, Rhode Island. She got out there this morning. She's there today, tomorrow, and Saturday. She's presenting Saturday at the Blended and Personalized Learning Conference,
Yep.
which you are heading to tomorrow, correct?
Yes, I am
Bright
at
and
6
early.
a.m. tomorrow morning.
Yes, and then you're going to hang out all tomorrow, and then you and Tiffany actually present at the same time on Saturday in different rooms. So if you happen to be in Rhode Island and are interested in blended or personalized learning, great conference to go to. It's right there downtown Providence. It's at the convention center. So very cool stuff. Anyway, sorry, I just took us like off track before we even started. So anyway, we're coming off of yet another awesome mastery chat. Tonight was led by Michelle Hill, who did a awesome job, I think. Great topic. You could tell everyone was eating it up. They loved it. And it was really cool. A lot of different approaches to the words that describe those challenging students and the way that they look at it and where they think it, where everyone thinks it comes from and how they try to attack it and get them engaged and stuff. It's pretty cool. So let's take your initial thoughts after the chat. How you feeling?
Oh my gosh, I loved this topic. Like we said on our pre-chat, we really need to ensure that we're reaching those hard to reach students. And I feel like at the time of year that we're in, like beginning of April, teachers are counting down the days, right? We got 8 weeks left. We have a lot of content to get through. We got to move it and groove in and really focusing back on those students, right? We're still focusing on those students. How are we reaching those hard to reach students? And so it was really interesting tonight to be able to reflect on strategies that other teachers
Mm-hmm.
are using to make that happen. And I loved it. I got so much out of this. I loved that first question where we had to identify those 3 words. There's a lot of wordplay going on there, which was cool.
Yeah.
And it really was a lot of, supporting one another with things that we can go out right now and go do in our classrooms tomorrow. And so that's really why these Twitter chats are so cool is all these teachers get together on Thursday night and they're like, hey, we have Friday to really implement all these cool new resources. Here's what I've got. Let's share. It's really, really neat to watch.
Yeah. Very cool. We had 3 countries represented tonight.
Nice.
I don't know how many states. We'll figure out from Amber when she gets done combing through everyone that was in there and stuff. But 3 countries, which is really cool. So, it's so much fun. Like you just said, like all the teachers coming together to share. It's so much fun to see people sharing and playing off each other. You talk about playing off the word play and stuff, and that leads into conversations, and they're just sharing information back and forth, and you see genuine questions of, oh, that sounds great. I have no idea how you accomplished that. Like, can you tell me? And then they're sharing, and like, it's cool to think that this silly Twitter thing is probably leading to several, if not dozens, of teachers tomorrow walking in a little differently with a little different, either a new idea or a new sense of I can do this kind of a deal when it comes to these challenging students and stuff, which is huge because the goal was to help students. Like, I mean,
Right.
and if we can't reach those tough students, like we're not helping, we're not going as far as we can, we're not reaching the students we need to. So that's a really cool thing. I really like that a lot. So
I think that's why I like that those Twitter chats that are kind of in the middle of the week, right? Like either Wednesday, Thursday Twitter chats. I love those because I still get to be motivated, be rejuvenated in terms of, all right, so what challenges am I having? How am I going to fix them? But then I don't have to wait. Like I can literally walk in tomorrow and try something, and that gives me some time to then reflect on it over the weekend.
Yeah.
So as teachers are going through and talking challenging students, how there really was a lot of great wordplay with what challenging students look like. But then there was also really good conversation about how dangerous it is to start labeling students. And I really liked that part of the chat where, you had teachers chiming really fast. Ugh, these kids are really hard. Ugh, these kids are so challenging to teach. Ugh, I can never reach these kids. But then there were these tweets that were more like, listen, like really have to reflect on how we label these students, right? Like their behavior in the small amount of time that we see them throughout the day, is that the label that they deserve? Is that the label that they earned? And how can we change that mindset, not only for them, but for the teachers? You know, if we walk in every day saying, yeah, I can't reach that kid, he's never going to get anywhere, how dangerous that can be in the classroom. And so there was, it really was an interesting chat tonight that allowed teachers to not only provide value, provide opinions, provide resources, but also kind of like check each other out, you know, like really make sure that we're pushing through and doing what's necessary for in our classroom.
And you talk about that labels. It was similar when we were on before the chat. You mentioned about like that student who just thinks he's not good at math or she isn't good at math because that's how they were labeled for who knows how many years prior to getting to your class. And it was someone, I can't remember who it was that tweeted, I think it was on that same question, said, all of my students are labeled long before they get to me.
I read
so
that
I don't know if I can remember how he phrased it after it taken it off. I can't remember who it was. But I'll have to look back through. But I really liked that answer. That was like, I don't label them. Like they're already labeled, so I try to peel back that label and figure out, like you just said, like, is that really what they should be getting? Is that really was that really what we should be worried about? Is how we need to label them? And instead of worrying about that, let's focus on how do I get to them? How do I get to that individual student each individual time? So
focusing on
really
like
cool
their next positive, label for themselves. It's not that they're bad math students, but they're actually my really accelerated, student, my really motivated student. How do you switch and do the opposite? I really liked that. That was a big kind of like side piece of our Twitter chat that we had, which was cool.
And someone touched on, you talk about like focusing on like, well, they may not be great at this, but they're XYZ. Yeah. Someone also touched on how she said her most challenging students overall of her career are the ones who stand to touch the longest. And that's sort of we hear these stories a lot when we're working with a lot of teachers about that student that went on, like you talked about your student that got their first job because of an internship they did in your class, 6 years or whatever years later or whatever. Yeah. And this thing of like, you never know. I saw a quote the other day that's out, or actually this morning, that's can't think of how it was said, but it was something along the lines of there's no way to ever measure how long a teacher's impact is and how far that reaches, because you never know what it is. So like, I think by removing those labels and focus on how do I engage with this person, like you can build that lifelong relationship with them. That's a big piece. And there was Chris Van Duyn or Van Duyn. I'm not sure how she says her name. She tweeted one out for answer question 3 that I grabbed a snap of that said, kids have to know you are invested in their life. They can spot fake within 5 minutes. And then she also goes on to say, once that relationship is established, they will walk through brick walls for you. Mm-hmm. So, and then she continues on, which I think is a great point, is that just like adults, though, kids need to be allowed to have a bad day or two along the way. And that's where you're talking about, like, the labeling. Like, just because they're having a rough day or week or month or year even, it doesn't mean they deserve that label. Maybe we need to figure out why they're having that. And Chad always talks about, don't focus on the fact that they're not doing this, or they fight you on this, or they don't seem interested. Like, if you try some things and it doesn't work, start figuring out like what's causing that and how do we fix that? Because it might be something that's has nothing to do with school, has nothing to do with you, has nothing to do with the content. But I really love that she said that the kids can spot the fake from forever. You got to build genuine, real connections with them. There's something that I used to always say when I was, in the restaurant management industry and stuff, and I would teach. Just like when I worked with team and, young kids who were learning how to be managers and stuff. And I think it goes just in general, and for teachers as well, is that I used to say that people follow managers or bosses because they're afraid of losing their job, but they follow leaders because they're afraid of losing their respect. Wow. And that's like a real relationship. When a student's afraid of following you or listening to you because they're afraid of detention or getting a bad grade, that might get you to get them to do the thing they need to do. And it might work out fine. It might be just what they need. But if a student is just dead set on not letting you down because they care about how you look at them, they respect you enough to do that, that's what she's telling me. Like, they'll go through brick walls for you. They'll turn around and do it. You think about
so much more power.
Yeah, you think about Chad's story about Jesse, his student Jesse, and Reachin, who was labeled, quote unquote, labeled as unreachable by every teacher before him, and even the teachers that were that year. And Chad's relationship with him was what enabled him to fight through a lot of the issues that he had and stuff, and actually do really well. So, really cool topic. I really like this one. It was good stuff. So Michelle did an awesome job. Michelle's really cool. I wish she could have got on, but she's spending some time with her family. She worked hard tonight. She can take the night off. It's okay.
Just like with these Twitter chats, we're dealing with teachers that, woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning and been working all day.
Sure.
Twitter chat, and those Twitter chats, at least, for me it's 7, for you it's 8. So then to ask for more time, we are interacting on Thursday nights with really invested, hardworking professionals, so not popping on a call is really unfortunate. But to be honest, how do you blame someone that done so much? She added so much value tonight. I think that we were off the hook for this one.
She spent some time making sure we had solid questions, thinking through what she was going to do and stuff. And that's a really cool point that you bring up. And we talk about how fun Thursday nights are and how cool it is to connect and stuff. But it's really cool to think about. These are all teachers that have already put in their days at work. Mm-hmm. And God knows what they went through, what they had to deal with, politics of school, the stress of getting grades ready, or dealing with that new initiative, or that colleague they were messing with, or the kid that's having a bad day, or the kid who got sick on the floor. What's that?
Having a sub tomorrow?
Having a sub tomorrow and traveling and stuff. It's all this stuff, and then still taking the time to get on and look for ways to better yourself, to help others better themselves.
Yeah.
All in the pursuit of teaching better, as we talked about. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's great.
It's good stuff. So kudos to you, since you had to prep it for a sub tomorrow, and still.
But
you run the grid method, so your classroom basically just runs itself.
No, that might be true. It does help. The fact that I'm doing a self-paced learning system really does add an enormous amount of help for that.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm gonna blow your mind. Are you ready? Are you ready for what I'm about to do right now?
Sure. What?
That just happened.
Hi.
I don't know why, but all the messages on Facebook just popped up all at once. People have been commenting, and it hadn't come up yet. So.
Oh yeah.
Jeff didn't make it today, but he's on break, so that's okay, Jeff.
Was our live not working for 20 minutes?
No, I think you were totally it was on working, there.
But on the back end for me, the comments weren't coming up, and they just popped up.
I know, I didn't see.
You just didn't even on here, and it was magic.
I was literally getting a little worried because I'm like, Susan hasn't said anything yet. I'm freaking out. But luckily, there she is. So we're good. And Megan's there. Hi, Megan.
Hey, wait, Megan. Can we give an awesome shout out to Megan? Megan is a really cool teacher in Galesburg, and Megan, we need to talk. This is my connection. We gotta talk.
All right, Megan, Megan and I heard it here live. Everyone knows Megan needs to talk to Ray now. And if you don't, we're gonna come back on live and say that you snubbed Ray and didn't talk to her. So
you need to connect to me or else.
Tiffany.
Yeah.
Did you get? I think I saw you in. Did you get into the chat? I'm not sure if I saw you at all or not.
The tail end. It is. I'm gonna go back through and look at everything.
Yeah.
It has been an insane day, but I just wanted to stop in and say hi. I love you all. I miss you. And I was so sad to miss almost all of Mastery Chat tonight.
So let's talk for a second.
You look fabulous, by the way.
You're on the you're on the 21st floor, yes?
Yes. Really high up.
High above Providence, Rhode Island. How is it? Yeah. I've never been to Rhode Island before.
Well, I haven't seen much.
You haven't really seen anything. You went airport to conference.
Yeah, when I got to the airport, I was in a taxi. I was at the hotel for a whopping 8 minutes, and then walked over to the event. So my walk was lovely.
You're right next door, right?
Yeah.
It's short too, so you got to see a street, maybe.
Yeah, it was a very nice street. Oh, there was actually a street that was called Sabin Street. And that's pretty cool because that's my maiden name.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I got a picture. I took a selfie. Let me take a selfie.
That's good. In the first day of the conference today, this was like a pre-conference portion, right? Like something.
Dude.
Tell me it was awesome because I didn't get to have you say that about Mastery Chat.
It's awesome. Like, I have never been to a conference that had this many super duper engaged, super awesome educators that are just like, hoorah, let's do this thing and make learning awesome. Like, amazing minds here. And it is such an honor to be able to think through things with them. So it was just, it was so cool.
What's the hashtag for it? BPLC
18.
Just 18. Okay. Put that up so I can see. So Tiffany's out there in Providence, Rhode Island at the Blended and Personalized Learning Conference, which started today. It's tomorrow, and then you're presenting Saturday morning.
Yep.
Ray is heading out bright and early tomorrow morning. And you're not going to Chicago, huh? We're flying you out of the little airport, right?
Yeah, I'm going Bloomington, Atlanta, Providence, Chicago, Bloomington.
Well, Tiff went out through Atlanta, and then you guys will both go over to the hotel together. Then you like split, and then, but you guys will get to hang out tomorrow, which is cool.
Yay!
Oh yes, we will.
We're all, of course, the rest of us are all extremely jealous and sad that we don't get to be there with you. But
you should be
excited to watch pictures and videos come back.
Well, really, you should be frightened. You know what happens when two awesome people get together? The world's gonna explode tomorrow. So get ready.
I'm sorry, it will all be over.
Just remember that I monitor all credit card transactions and I'm aware of what goes on. So you're both presenting on Saturday morning, I think at the exact same time. Tiffany, you are presenting on
making mastery manageable with tech.
Nice.
So taking all of these awesome mastery learning ideas and how blended education, blended learning can just supercharge it and make it
awesome. And Ray,
it's like my favorite worlds combining into one like bundle of presentations. So I love this.
And then Ray, you're presenting on.
Mine is all about how to utilize the community in a blended learning classroom. So really that teach further model in a blended learning
setting.
style.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool.
Should be fun.
That's good stuff.
I'm only sad because I don't get to go watch Ray present. And
I know.
You guys,
that is a sadness. I know.
You know, that's just the way it happens. You guys do get to go over to the airport together on Saturday though, like so.
Yeah.
I mean, you can pretend like you're like going somewhere fun, but you're not just both going home.
Have a blast. Don't fool yourself like it's a work trip. We are gonna have a blast.
Nothing. I don't think anything we do is work. It's all fun and games. Anyway, so Tiff, the chat was indeed awesome. So
yeah.
We touched on. I'm gonna get. Do you have a couple minutes still? Or are you still,
yeah.
Okay. It's not like you have kids to take care of there.
No.
Shout out to Cam for being an awesome husband and take care of the kids.
I'm just a little exhausted because I've been up since 3:30 a.m. So if I'm a little slap happy.
So all right, so we'll make it quick. I just want to touch really quick on. So question 1 was 3 words to describe. How was it phrased, Ray? Come on, help me out here.
Like you're really hard to reach students.
Like 3 words that you would use to describe them. And it was really cool tonight to watch all the different types of words and the way they sort of played on the words. So I wanted to get your answer on the fly, how you would answer that.
Okay. Puzzle.
Ooh.
Making it work. See, now
I
it's
know.
a work trip.
I know. I'm tired.
Good. Those students are a puzzle, right?
I know. That's a good one. I don't think I saw that one.
I didn't know.
That would have went crazy tonight. That'd been good.
I think opportunity.
Yep. We saw that. That was a common one, which I love that we saw was a common theme.
And I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to say it anyway. Gentle, because when you're interacting with these students, you have to be gentle.
Yeah, no,
you have to have so much care in your heart and in your actions.
And we touched earlier before you got on about how they can spot that fake relationship and they can spot when you don't really care. So you gotta be gentle. And we also talked about how you don't know why they are challenging necessarily. You might not know yet.
That's the puzzle.
It could be, that's the puzzle, but because of that puzzle and because you're not sure what's causing it, I think gentle is a really good word because you've got to be gentle. You got to be smart about how you're approaching them. Chad always talks about it's really easy to just be like, oh, you're not going to work today, right? And just get upset and get into a fight, but that's not going to help anybody.
Right.
So if you take a more gentle approach and just work with them, that's good. That was good. Nice job there, Mama Tiff.
Thank you.
So
I don't even remember what I said. So,
I blacked out for a second. What happened? So good stuff. So if you're in Rhode Island or, more specifically somewhere near Providence, I guess Rhode Island's not massive. You could still get there if you're just like on the other end. Go see
Rhode Island, by the way. I'm sorry. I'm going to interrupt you. Holy smokes. They are doing some amazing things in education here in Rhode Island. Like, if you are a teacher in Rhode Island, awesome you, because there are some really innovative things happening right here. And it's really, kind of a model for New England and how education is changing. So it's a pretty cool place.
So go Rhode Island.
Go Rhode Island.
Good stuff. And then go Rhode Island to the Blended and Personalized Learning Conference and watch Tiff and Ray on Saturday. Right. So I'm going to let you go because you've been up all day, and I'm going to let you go because you've got to get up early tomorrow and go find Tiff. So we absolutely better see pictures when you guys like unite and are there, and after you like scream and get really excited, then take a picture. Yeah, a slow motion run into the hot.
We'll make it happen.
Anyway, so we will be back again. We went way off of we were all over the place tonight, but like we always do. I'm so good at keeping us on track. I know.
Did you talk about this next week?
Next week, we've got a duo. They're going to tag team the whole thing. Ooh. And they're like the, what's the word I'm looking for? I would consider that it to be like the tag team champions when it comes to just awesomeness.
Yeah.
We have Dave and Shelly Burgess coming on to host next week. I'm not 100% aware of the topic just yet, but I'm assuming it's just going to be good.
Who cares? It's David Shelley Burgess.
I don't know if they're I don't know if they're going to do. I don't know if they're going to be doing it from. I think they're going to tweet out from both accounts and sort of it's going to be interesting to see how they do it. But I'm super excited because they're both really really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've talked with Shelly more than Dave, and Shelly's just such a cool person and just ridiculously I'm sounding really stupid trying to say that she's smart. She's just really smart. They know what they're doing, right? I mean, what's that word? Smart. Smart's the word I'm looking for.
Words are hard.
And just fun to just talk to and stuff. So I'm really excited to have them lead and everything. So, so that's next week. So good stuff there. And outside of that, we will be back here next week prior to and then after the chat as well. And we're going to try really hard to see if we can get Dave and Shelly to jump on live with us. We'll see what happens. So Ray's so good stuff. And go see Ray and Tiff in Providence. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks. See ya.